Hello guys, I have the Quality of Life November 2024 game update for you. Let's start. They added 3 new buildings to the game. One of them being the so-called bottle filler. Normally, in order to fill them, you will have to use the pitcher pump. But now you have a second option. The new bottle filler building allows you to just pump it via pipes. If you click on the building, you can even set the maximum kilogram that you want for the bottle. So this time we do have a 200 kilogram bottle right here, automatically filled with the help of the bottle filler building. Thank you, Brian. And with the new option to automatically fill bottles right here, we now have the option to automatically empty bottles called the bottle drainer. You just have to enable the auto bottling process and send Brian to just get it. And with the help of this awesome machinery, we now have access to automatically store your bottled liquids again. And just like that, you can refill all of your bottled liquids into your storage. Sorry Brian, I let you out now. There you go. We now do have liquid filling, liquid emptying, and of course, the same thing for the gases. The classic method would be to just activate some pumps and then fill the canister filler. Once you have a full canister, you just send over a duplicate and the duplicant will empty it. But instead of having the machinery empty it into your atmosphere, you can also now use the new canister drainer. So let's just stop this here and then enable the auto bottling for the new building and set it to a high priority. The lovely N-Rug will come by, pick up the bottles, put it on the new automatic emptier, and the gas will be delivered to the gas pipes, helping you deliver the gas to the places that you actually want them. For example, your storages. If we are already talking about all the gas canister filler machinery, we can now click on the canister filler, the old one, and set a new maximum capacity, up until 200 kg per canister. Oh, also in case you didn't notice, they added a new pickup animation to the canister filler. And the bottle emptier animation now shows the liquid. Could you just use the right building, Brian? Thank you. And the bottle emptier animation should now display the bottle of the element being emitted. So this one here is clearly water, and this one here, nice, is finally the crude oil. Awesome. Speaking about crude oil, duplicants will now occasionally slip while walking over ice or puddles of oil. Brilliant timing there, schools, thank you for that. It is not specified if they actually mean crude oil or petroleum in this case, but let's just see it for ourselves. As you could see, it doesn't really happen that often. They made changes to the power plant room, which is the yellow room here. Normally it requires you to have one of these tune-up power control stations inside of them to count as a power plant room. But now they changed it. Any room that has 2 or more power generators inside of them, of which at least one is a heavy generator, is now counted as a power room. So basically any power producing building except for the manual generator, which doesn't count at all. If you use the manual generator and a wood burner, for example, the room does not count. But if you use a manual generator, a wood burner and a power control station, it does count again. As you can see, wood burners, coal generators, hydrogen generators, natural gas generators, petroleum generator and solar panel all work the same, as well as the steam turbine. You might ask what the benefit of this is. Well, easy to explain. We now only need one power control station in a single room, that is a power plant, and a duplicant will come by and build the chips in this room and transport them to any other power generating building that you might have activated. You can see the tuned up buildings by this tiny little light bulb thingy on top of it. As you can see, Elon Subprime is producing our chips, transporting them to the steam turbine, for example, or to our coal generators, which are in a whole nother room. The produced chips can now also be stored in a regular storage bin. Not sure how they're called, but let's just look for chips. Yeah, microchips can now be stored inside of the storage bin. They also increased the maximum power plant room size to 120 tiles, which is this size right here and can hold 10 petroleum generators, as you can see here. Also, in case you didn't know, you can selectively choose which buildings should be tinkered with and which shouldn't be allowed to. So we can click on this wood burner, for example, and disallow the tinker. The same for the steam turbine. Disallow the tinker, same for this one, and so on. Let's see if we can copy this over to buildings that are not the same type. No, you can copy it over to only the buildings that are of the same type. For example, like this. And then suppress the current. Disallow tinker, copy the settings. There we go. By the way, that manual generators cannot be tinkered with is new in this update. So you could before, but now you can no longer tinker with them and increase their output. That's also a change that they implemented in this new update. The power control stations in a room do not need to be operational in order for the generator in that room to be tuned up with the microchip, as long as the microchip tool has already been manufactured elsewhere. So I manufacture it here and I can use it in this room, for example. The microchip production time has also been increased, while the generator microchip application time is now reduced. So as you can see, production takes a while, but once it is finished, I have the feeling that the tinkering itself needs a priority, because nobody's doing jack shit here. Oh, there we go. Thank you, ECX. As you can see by Elon Subprime tuning up the cold generator, it is much faster than it was before. Now both of them are tuned up. You can clearly see now which buildings have been tuned up by this new animation that I added, which is quite nice, to be honest. Another great change they made is to the schedules. Previously only available in mod form, you can now switch the schedules around with just the left and the right button here, which makes it very easy to change your schedules. But even more impressive is, check this out. You can have different schedules inside of the same schedule, alternating them in between days. So the first day the downtime is around here, second day here, and so on and so forth. How is that useful? Well, you could have something like this. Alternating workdays with free time. Because they changed how the morale works. The morale bonus from recreation schedule blocks now accumulates and diminishes gradually as the duplicant experiences their schedule. I haven't tested this extensively, but let's just leave the duplicants in this schedule and then check back on them in a few cycles. Right now the dupes will start their fun day cycle. After that we will check how much morale they accumulated. Because, and that is the one downside of this update, you cannot see how much morale you gain by implementing the downtime here. If we focus for example on the lovely J-Ray that is already overjoyed here and check out the skill tree, go to J-Ray and check out the morale here, we see that there is a missing string duplicant modifiers break 18. So not sure if that is supposed to be the correct line, but let's wait a little. So, J-Ray has now experienced a full day of doing absolutely nothing. Let's check out how happy they are. I think they maxed out at around 5 happiness, which is the missing string duplicant modifier for the break time. As can be seen here in the down right in the info box. So now after a full day of hard work as you've seen, let's check J-Ray again. The morale boost from the schedule's downtime is down to 0. So over the time of the day they lost all of the benefits from the downtime. So this might not be the best solution. I am not sure of any application yet, but this year could be useful for some special edge cases. Just play around with it and tell me what you figured out. Another change that they made is the save button in the pause menu. Now should show you already saved, like it is here, if you've just saved. They also implemented a save and quit option to the confirm quit game dialog. So if you quit the game, there's now quit without saving, save and quit, or just the regular cancel. The duplicants errands list. If you click a duplicant, that is this list here that says errands, got a small adjustment to the UI. As you can see, idle shows a little picture of the duplicant, deconstruct got a lever, and so on and so forth. And while we are already here in this tiny little tab, we can go to the config tab and can now see everything that is assigned to a duplicant. The suits, clothing, beds, toilets and a dining table, which is super amazing. And that means you can now assign toilets. I think that is also new, if I'm not mistaken. If you click here, you can select the bed that you want to assign to this duplicant. And if you click the eye, it will show you which of the beds it is. So let's just assign this here, which previously was assigned to Potatoes on. Go to the toilets, check on, let's say this toilet and assign it. It is no longer public, now it is assigned. Does it show up here as well? Yeah, it is assigned. This one here has been assigned to Elon Subprime. They tweaked the crafting table sound. And while we are already here, if you click on the crafting station, the oxygen masks and atmosuits recipes no longer appear in fabricator side screens if the ingredients have not been discovered yet. So I am obviously in dev mode and in sandbox, but I guess if I would not be in sandbox mode, or dev mode, yeah, then I can only see the recipes for the stuff that I have discovered yet. Which can be a good thing because you do not have to search so much, but it can also be a bad thing because you do not know what to find or what to discover if you're a beginner to be able to craft a mask in the first place. So I'm split on this. We got some coal here right in the middle of the screen and I would like to move it to a different area. This was called Move To, now it is called Relocate To. Click it, select the location, you can even click on the Move Here icon and prioritize it. So they basically just changed the name from Move To Relocate To. It is still called Pending Move though in the status. By the way, the Move To command for duplicates is still called Move To, so it is only called Relocate for items that you can pick up. As you might know, in one of the last updates they implemented a feature that if you research anything, the current status of the research is shown in the top right corner. Now if you hover over it, it will even show you a tiny info box showing you what is being researched currently. Other changes that you can see in the database are that the plastic monomer database entry now lists the elements in the category, for example petroleum and nectar, and the applications. The research screen is now prevented from zooming in and out with the mouse. If I leave the window and move the mouse and zoom, it only works inside of the window now, which is less annoying of course. They added a germ source indicator to various plants, critter and building. Not sure if I'm correct here, but under properties you can see disease source, food poisoning, 105,000 germs per use. So might be this tab here. Lockers, vending machines and other buildings which drop items can now be prioritized. So we can rummage this building and set the priority to 9, which we couldn't do before that. Also if we go to the errands, save this, close the game and then reload it, the errands will be saved as well. They changed the artwork for the head of the pyrotechnics. Now we got this lovely head. Speaking about the Sandbox mode here. Now as soon as you activate it, you have access to all the overlays, which wasn't the case before. You still had to unlock the stuff or activate the developer mode. So this is a nice addition for everyone using the Sandbox mode. Another thing that I figured out while using the Sandbox mode is the duplicate that you can spawn in the Sandbox mode is now called standard duplicate, implying the existence of a non-standard or special duplicate in upcoming updates. They adjusted the livable temperature range for hedges and pips to prevent them from freezing in cold environments, which is helpful and annoying at the same time. Because now, in order for them to instantly turn into meat inside of your infinite food storage, you need to reach temperatures below the livable range, which needs to be less than -45 degrees for the pip and for the hedge as well. If you don't know what I mean with that, check out my latest video on the Frosty Planet Pack DLC. They have shown such a mechanism. They also made it easier to figure out when your tiny little critter will get hurt. Just click on it and the critter body temperature tooltip should now mention the temperature at which the critter will start to take damage. So if we hover over the body temperature right here, it tells us that a critter will start taking damage at below -45 degrees Celsius or above 100 degrees Celsius. Here, for example, one of the smaller sounding changes, but with theoretically huge implications, could be that they allowed sublimating elements, like this bleach stone here or the polluted water here, to emit gas to adjacent tiles in situations that would otherwise delete any mass. So that doesn't sound like much, but it could screw up with a lot of different setups that use sublimation and liquids and so on in tiny amounts. So I'm not completely sure about this, but there you could see that the mass was deleted instead of the sublimating element moving the gas to a different tile. So let's make this like 20 kilogram and put the bleach stone inside. Normally the bleach stone would completely stop emitting any gas, which is still the case. So let's keep an eye on this. This could be important, but could also be just some minor detail. They changed the logic counter to not pulse the output signal on reset in the advanced mode. As you can see, the lamp is not turning on, and if we click on the signal counter, we are in the advanced mode. I am not sure what a logic counter is, because if we go to the logic and type in counter, there's only the signal counter here, and if I type in logic counter, nothing shows up at all. So that's just my guess. There have been changes to claiming the blueprints as well, so let's check this out. If we go to the new blueprints, they increased the speed of the blueprint claiming process when claiming more than one at a time. So let's print this. It is still slow, and it also shows we still have 2 unclaimed blueprints, which is new as well. they changed the process that you don't have to click this button all the time, but you still have to press. The update notes also state that they made improvements to the performance, which is why I rebooted my old planet. As you can see by the frames in the top left corner, even on the lowest speed setting, let me put this up to 3, this is a very active area that uses up a lot of your frames. And if I activated the pipe overlay or the liquid overlay, you can see it even drop further. If you don't know what this is, I highly suggest you check out my Bugs and Exploits Let's Play or the 3400 cycle, the movie version of it that I stitched together. Duplicants should now prioritize finding new tasks after finishing the previous one. Especially on late game saves, that means that they don't stand around as long in between the tasks. So let's see how they do here. It can happen that they stand around for almost half a cycle to a whole cycle before starting a new task. So even seeing Andrash Kiss here doing quick work of the background tiles is pretty impressive. Still, the frames suck. We are at, let's check this, 17 frames. They also improved the performance of pathfinding, where lock contention was the limiting factor. Not exactly sure what they mean with that, but probably has to do with all the settings on your doors. And they added a few more performance improvements that I didn't really understand, but that we hopefully notice while playing the game. Spaced out only, Sweetles and Grubs can now apply their plant growth effects to plants in planter boxes. Frosty Planet Pack DLC only. Behemoth can now eat nosh beans, nosh bean plants, they probably mean the nosh sprout itself, and plume squash fries, meaning the squash fries. They adjusted the Behemoth navigation so they require the area above the ledge to be clear in order to hop up and down. So this area here is not clear. If I remove this tile here, is it clear now? Still not clear. This tile as well, still not clear. Maybe the problem is this here, show navigation. Okay, now the Behemoth can navigate this. Yeah, so the Behemoth always needs a too wide area so that they can climb up. And let's see if we block this like this. The Behemoth cannot get up. If we remove only one tile here, the Behemoth can get up. So this here is basically your Behemoth navigation path. Speaking of Behemoth, they added a new Behemoth morph, the Regal Behemoth. Check this out. Holy shit, it's so awesome. And do you know what the Regal Behemoth does? Here, check this out. Besides giving you the same massive amount of meat, it basically eats almost the same. But this one gives you a Regal Behemoth crest. So if we check that out right here, this here is the Regal Behemoth crest, which we can probably crush. Yeah, there it is, giving us gold amalgam. So we now have a renewable source of gold amalgam, which is just totally awesome. Maybe we can even melt this down. We cannot, but we can totally crush it. And there we go, renewable gold amalgam. But how can we get the Regal Behemoth, you might ask? Well, if you click on the Behemoth and then check the egg chances for the Regal Bemini egg, you need to feed it squash fries to actually get a chance for the eggs. So let's just feed it some squash fries and then check how the chance changes. You stay here please and eat. It increased by 5% from one time eating. And Floxes can now eat bristleberry and bristle blossoms. This one here. The Spigot seal got a new food source as well, the sucrose. Maybe they can only eat it in this form. Yep, gotta dig it up. Pips also got an update. They can now eat the bonbon tree branch growth. There you go, my little fellow. Shinebugs and some of their morphs can now eat pike apples and pike apples cures. Here are all the Shinebug morphs and here's the control of the pike apple and the pike apples cure with 800 kilocalories and 1200 kilocalories. Now give them some time and then I can check the values. Maybe I gotta heat this up here. Okay, let's check this. The Abyss bug does not eat the pike apple or the pike apple's cure. The Azure bug doesn't eat it. Shine bug does eat from the pike apple, probably also will eat from the pike apple's cure. The Radiant bug does not eat from them. The Sun bug does eat from them. Coral bug also eats from them. Royal bug eats from them. So that leaves us with a regular Shine bug, the Sun bug, the Coral bug and the Royal bug. They added pike apple seeds to the care packages. I obviously can't show you that because it's super random. They also fixed a few things regarding the geovents. The issue where a geovent would get stuck when a solid mass remaining was too small to emit got fixed. And I finally edited the description of the blocked geovent to specify here Back geo-vents can be cleared by pumping in liquids that are hot enough to melt lead. They also added a new spaced out style mini Ceres mantle cluster. So this one here is the Frosty planet pack. And this one here is the Ceres mantle asteroid. So this is the cluster version of it. Let's check this out. It is a tiny version of the actual Ceres style planet. Clay is also working on increasing the drop rate for the blueprints, the ones that you get for your supply closet, but this will only be implemented after the beta period.